once again. So, how many of you were here last night for the fabulous party? Woo-hoo! Yes, it was amazing, wasn't it? Yes. So if you had any hand in creating that event last night, I invite you to please stand up. If you volunteered, you brought food, whatever you did to create that event, to make that event happen, I invite you to please stand up. Yes, let's give them all a round of applause. Thank you. Having events like this is what brings the community together, because that's really what it's about. It's about bringing the community together. So I want to thank everyone who had a hand in that. I know that we've already, with one of the figures that I received this morning is just with the silent donations alone. The silent donations brought in almost $1,000. An amazing thing. So thank you, Pat, and thank you, Ron. Yes? Oh, right. So, just a quick note that when we leave here when we leave the sanctuary and you head over to Johnson Hall, there is a ton of fresh vegetables, and a ton is almost literally a ton. There's 50-pound bags of potatoes, 50-pound bags of onions, all kinds of cabbage, carrots, there's mushrooms and cucumbers, all kinds of stuff available for you to take home with you. Alright? And if you want to throw a little extra in the kitty there, even better. So there you go. Pushing some of that 1,000 mark. So, again, thank you, everybody who participated. It was a wonderful evening. It was a lot of fun magic. Sorry, it was great. It was a lot of fun. We had a good time. So welcome to Sunday morning here at Riverside Community Center for Spiritual Living. It is so great to see all of you here this morning. I want you to look at the walls here. Notice something different there along the walls? Last week, we had the wonderful opportunity to explore the idea of uncovering our magnificence. And we had the opportunity to also cut off some of those branches, right, that were no longer bearing fruit, or no longer bearing fruit richly, that were no longer really serving the community. We had the opportunity to really get those up, get those out, shine the light on it, and then shred it, get rid of it, and allow then the magnificence that this community is to then be expressed through the artwork that's on the walls. So these are going to hang for a bit for you so that you can begin to take it in. This is some of the magnificence that was coming through each one of you and coming through collectively as the community. So after service, I do invite you to go and really look and see what's there and what calls to your heart and see how it resonates with you. And feel the beauty and the magnificence that is wanting and waiting and already unfolding in our beloved community here at Riverside. So take a look at that. This month we've been working with the idea of rooted in the divine, and I've been using John 15 as a basis for that, and also Living the Science of Mind by our Dr. Ernest Holmes. I've been using those two things as the basis for the talks for this month, and the basis of the ideas and the themes that we're discussing this month. And so at the very beginning we talked about I am the vine and my Father is the gardener, right? Who prunes so that things may grow better, and who also cuts away the dead branches. And so we did that together as a community as well. And then last week we talked about uncovering our magnificence, that I am the vine and ye are the branches, that the Christ consciousness within you, or as we talked about last week, the golden Buddha, the Buddha consciousness within you is your own magnificence. It is the magnificence of who you are, that you are the divine, that you are rooted in the divine, that the divine is always expressing in, through, and as you. Right? And then we have this beautiful expression here. So this week we're moving further down in the passage, and what we're looking at is abide in me and allow me to abide in you, and ye shall bear fruit richly. The way we're going to do this is we're going to look at the theme, or the topic today is be, then do. So be, then do. So how many of you have a to-do list? Yeah, I should probably about every hand, right? We all have a to-do list. Mine got really long, I would say, March 1st. And I'm really grateful for it. So we all have a to-do list, right? There's things we have to do. How many of us have a honey-do list? Yeah. Right. Yeah, we have a honey-do list. Yeah. Ed's honey-do list this week while I'm gone is to weed the backyard so that the dogs don't hit the foxtail grass that's wanting to grow in the desert for some weird, odd reason. So that's on his honey-do list, so I'm looking forward to going home and seeing a nice, clean backyard. Yeah. We'll see. So we all have a to-do list, but do we have a to-be list? Silence. Yeah. Do we have a to-be list? Likely, maybe a couple of us have a to-be list. But for the most part, we get caught in our human doingness, and we forget that we're human beings. And so we forget about our beingness, rather than we get caught in our doingness and our busyness and our business. But we get caught in that. Whereas really what we are is we're human beings, but even beyond being human beings, we are spiritual beings having a spiritual experience. You might hear we're spiritual beings having a human experience. No. We are spiritual beings having a spiritual experience in this form. And so what I know is that being always precedes doing. Being always comes first. Never second. Being comes first. Because consciousness is the ground of all being. And when we say that consciousness is the ground of all being, that's what we teach here, that consciousness is the ground of all being. Then another way of saying that is God is all there is, right? God is all there is. It's another way of saying consciousness is the ground of all being. So if consciousness is the ground of all being, and God is all there is, then how do things come into form? First, they must exist as an idea. Is that correct? They must exist as an idea or as a thought. So if they exist as an idea or as a thought in the divine mind, which is the one mind, which is the mind that I use, which is the mind that uses me, expresses and through it has me as well. If we're using that divine mind, or we're thinking a thought, right? Thoughts become things, as Ernest Holmes says. But do they really? Does every thought become a thing? Hopefully not, right? Woo! Right. Woo! No, it's done unto us as we believe, right? It's done unto us as we believe. And so, what is a belief then? A belief is a thought plus a feeling equals belief. Thought plus feeling equals belief. And our beliefs, it's done unto us as we believe. It's our beliefs that come forth. So if you look at the word belief, B-E-L-I-E-F, and you change the last two letters, then you've got be life. Right? Yes. So our beliefs become our life. More things a minute ago. Right. So what is it that we are believing? What is it that we are bringing to life? What is it that we are bringing forth in our daily experience? So Ernest Holmes shares with us this. We must learn that we abide in the truth. Therefore, the truth operates through us. We abide in the law, therefore the law is our servant. And we abide in the divine and eternal light. Therefore, we walk in the light, and in the light there is no darkness at all. So abiding in the truth operates through us. Abiding in the law then becomes our servant. And abiding in the divine eternal light, we then walk in the light. So we're always being. We're always being. Even if we're conscious of it or not, we are always being. Because that's what we are. We exist. We are being. We are God being each one of us. That's the truth of who we are. That is our magnificence, is that God being itself as each one of us. But sometimes we tend to forget that. We tend to forget that. But we're always being. Emerson has this wonderful quote, which I'll paraphrase. Who you are speaks so loudly I can barely hear what you're saying. So we have these beloveds in our lives that when we walk into a room, or when they walk into a room, we're like, wow, there she is, or there he is. Oh, it's so good just to be in their presence. This is amazing. Because who they are precedes them. Because who you are, each of who we are, precedes us. It goes before us, right? And then we have those beloveds in our lives who are like, oh. There they are. Right? You know? But really, what we're seeing then is we're seeing through our own filters because we're forgetting who we are, right? And it's an opportunity for us to remember who we are, that we are the divine, and it's an opportunity to remember who they are, that they are the divine. Whether their unskilled behavior is what is preceding them or not, but the root of who they are is the divine. The root of who they are is love. And so then that's our opportunity to meet love with love. So a better question when we greet each other might be, how are you being? Rather than how are you doing? How are you being? How are you being? And it's a good question to ask ourselves. How am I being? Am I being my radiant, magnificent, golden Buddha self? Or am I being the mud and the clay that was slapped on the Buddha that we talked about last week? Am I being mud, or am I being magnificent? How am I being? And when we become conscious of our being, then our doing has purpose. Then our doing actually serves a purpose, rather than just running around like chickens with our heads cut off, right? Getting caught in the doing. When we center and we come from a place of being, then the doing, the action, then has meaning. It has purpose. It serves a larger purpose. And so this is what we talk about, and it is abide in me and allow me to abide in you, and we'll bear fruit richly. Abiding in the truth, abiding in the one, abiding in the divine, abiding in your magnificence, remembering the truth of who you really and truly are. When we abide in that, when we center into that, when we align with that, then our life begins to unfold under grace and in magnificent ways. Because we are abiding in the truth, we are then bearing fruit richly. We get our little ego self out of the way, our edging God out self out of the way. We get that self out of the way. And we stand in the truth of who we are. We abide there. And we have the opportunity then to commune with the Christ consciousness within us. To commune with the higher self, the higher power that indwells us. To align ourselves and root ourselves into that God consciousness and allow the Christ consciousness that is God itself move through us. And remember, we are the branches that bear fruit. But we have to remember that that is who we are, rooted there, allowing the free flow of Spirit to move through and as. And so we have the opportunity to turn within, to go within, to listen to the higher power, the higher self that resides within you, which is your higher self. We have the opportunity to go in and commune, to be in community with this one, to enter into a conscious union with the one, and allow it to guide, allow it to speak, allow it to share its wisdom. Because what you're doing is you're tapping into the God wisdom, you're tapping into that infinite, eternal intelligence that already is, that is ever available to you, as we sung in the songs this morning. It's already present. We just open out a way to allow it to be we open out a way for ourselves to allow it to be a vessel through which it moves, through which it experiences itself into life as our form. So there's the opportunity to simply go within, because there's a God positioning system. It's a GPS, right? You got your own GPS. It's an internal GPS. It's your God positioning system. And what happens if you don't listen to the GPS in your car? Sometimes you get lost. So what happens if you don't listen to your GPS? Sometimes you get lost, right? So we have the opportunity to go back and listen, and really listen to the divine and what the divine is wanting to share and express through and as you. Remember, you are always one with it. It is not something separate from you. It is that higher intelligence, it is that higher power, it is your higher self that is wanting to express. We just have to be open and willing to listen to it, to receive the impress of Spirit. And when we do that, when we listen to what Spirit has to say, rather than what our own simple ideas are, when we listen to the higher idea of Spirit, and we take action upon that, then we start living a life of grace. We start living a life of liberation. We start living a life of freedom. Because that internal GPS, that God positioning system, is never going to steer you wrong. It's not Google, which occasionally doesn't recognize the street, and here you go, it's a dead end, right? It's never going to steer you wrong. That God positioning system within yourself will never, ever steer you wrong. But the opportunity for us is to trust it, to have faith in it, and to allow it to guide. Are you with me? Yes. So the being then comes first. We have to be present with that which is the divine within us. And then we do. We be, then do. The song used to be do, right? We're flipping it. It's be, do, be, do, be, do. Be, do. Be, do. Be, do. Makes more sense that way. Just makes a lot more sense that way. When we do that, then we begin to live a life of grace. And a life of grace is so much more freeing, so much more powerful, and so much more meaningful than running around and just simply doing. Thinking, I got this, I got this, I got this. When we simply allow ourselves to surrender and allow Spirit has got this, Spirit as me has got this, we get quiet and we listen. So John Kabat-Zinn, he says, don't just do something, sit there. Don't just do something, sit there. because we want to focus on the being, turn within, consult the Spirit within, consult the divine within, and then step out. Then take action. And Joel Goldsmith tells us that no blessing, or any spiritual blessing that is ever given to us by the grace of God is for the benefit it will be to this entire universe. Of those to whom much is given, much will be expected and demanded. And nobody is ever given the grace of God and then given permission to go up on a mountaintop and hide somewhere with it. So you're doing your world work, you're communing with the Spirit, and then you're taking action. But guess what? You have to commune, and then you have to take action. You don't just get to commune, reach enlightenment, and then run away and hide. What's then called to do, what we're then called to do, is the more realization that we have, the more activity is then given to us through which we put to work our understanding and our development for the benefit of the world. So when we open up and we allow, and we grow in consciousness, we open out a way, then more comes to us so that we can then begin to demonstrate our understanding and our development for the benefit of the world. So we're doing world work. We're doing it on an individual basis, but we're doing it for the benefit not only of ourselves, but for the entire community, for the entire planet. Be, then do. Be, then do. Be, then do. And so when events happen and we're called to action, we have the opportunity first to root ourselves in the divine, root ourselves in spiritual principle, be one with that, listen, and then take action upon that which has been revealed. And so this past week we had children, teenagers, and young adults, and children listen to a deeper calling and then take action. This is listening first to that which is wanting to be brought forth and then taking action upon it. And these beautiful young people have demonstrated this principle this week. Cornel West says, justice is what love looks like in public. Yeah. And so it comes from a deep sense of being. And then we have the opportunity to take action on what that which is revealed. And so what I'm going to invite us to do here now this morning is I'm going to invite us to be and listen. Last week I invited you to get in touch with that golden Buddha within yourself. Get in touch with that magnificence that already is within you. That actually is your very essence. And so I'm going to invite you to go back and visit this again, because this is your Buddha consciousness, this is your Christ consciousness, this is your higher self, this is your God positioning system, this is your intuition, if you want to call it that, whatever you want to call it. It is that higher knowingness, your divinity within you. And so I'm going to invite you to go within. And so I invite you to sit with dignity in this moment. And breathing into the divine, breathing into your natural, your true essence, your highest self. I invite you to contemplate this. You're sitting in Holy Communion. the beloved shares with you. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know. Be still. Be. In this place of Holy Communion, I invite you to enter into a dialogue with your higher self, with your magnificence, with your Christ consciousness. I invite you to ask it, who am I here to be? Who am I here to be? And allow Spirit to speak. Breathe it in. And ask Spirit, what would you have me do? Thy will be done, not my will. Thy will be done. So what would you have me do, Spirit? Remembering the Spirit as your own higher self. What would you have me do? Recognizing that I myself do nothing, it's the Spirit within that does the work, and where two or more are gathered, I am in the midst of thee. I recognize that we have come here together as a community. Each one of us has said yes. We've walked through the door, and each one of us has said yes to being in community with each other and in service to each other. This is is our high holy agreement, our high holy appointment. Being present here and now. And so sitting in communion with the divine within each one of us. I invite you to ask the Spirit within you, what is Riverside Community Center for Spiritual Living here to be? What is Riverside Community Center for Spiritual Living here to be? Breathe that in. What is Riverside Community Center for Spiritual Living here to be? And here to be in Riverside, in the Inland Empire. What is Riverside Community Center for Spiritual Living here to be? Breathe it in and allow Spirit to speak. And I invite you to call it forth. And by calling it forth, what I mean is by speaking this out into the room. What is Riverside Community Center for Spiritual Living here to be? Beacon of light, touchstone, place of love, anchor, support, magnificence, home, breathe it in. Riverside Community Center for Spiritual Living exists to allow Spirit to complete the sentence. Again, allow Spirit to give voice through your voice. Riverside Community Center for Spiritual Living exists to nourish, heal, be supportive,
be complete.
Sorry? Breathe that in. Feel it. Feel the aliveness, the vitality, the vibrancy of Spirit moving through you, of Spirit moving through our beautiful, beloved community, taking form and taking shape. feel the nourishment of Spirit. And recognizing that Spirit is expressing as each one of us, then that which has already been spoken so far, if it is to be, it is up to me. Each one of us accepts personal responsibility for the vision, for this high idea of Spirit emerging and evolving and expressing as Riverside Community Center for Spiritual Living. So if it is to be, it is up to me. And so if it is to be, it is up to me, meaning each one of us. Next question of Spirit then is, who am I called to be in service to this community? Who am I called to be in service to this community? Again, breathe that in and allow Spirit to voice it into this room. Who am I called to be in service to this community?
Midwife.
Sorry?
Midwife.
Midwife. Self-teaching Spirit. Childlike and steadfast.
Awake and aware.
Being present.
And breathe that in. And ask of Spirit, what is mine to do in service to Riverside Community Center for Spiritual Living? What is mine to do in service to Riverside Community Center for Spiritual Living? Breathe it in and allow it to have voice as well.
Stating principle. Serve without thought of self.
Assist.
Whenever I can.
Show up and follow through.
Support financially bound solutions. Suit up and show up.
Encourage. Manifest truth. Right. Prosperity.
breathe this in. And a nice deep exhalation out. So what you've done is you've called forth the high idea of Riverside Community Center for Spiritual Living. What you've done is you've called forth your purpose and your mission in life. And your purpose and mission in life are to be in service. To be in service to the one. To be in service to the one, expressing individually as your beloveds around you, love thy neighbor as thyself. And to be in service to this community is to use those gifts and talents to align your purpose and your mission with your community. And then allow this community then to serve the greater world, the greater Inland Empire area, the greater world itself. This is your high and holy calling. The call upon your life is to be in service and to be of service. Let's call on everyone's life. To be the presence of God, to be the presence of love, and to, suit up and show up. Put on your God suit and your big girl panties, and suit up and show up as the presence of God. So at this point, you're at a choice point. We're at a choice point. Spirit has spoken to you. Spirit has spoken through you. You now have a choice. You always have a choice. But in this case, you have a choice. Are you going to listen to your God positioning system? Are you going to listen to that which Spirit has spoken through you today? And are you going to take action on it? Or are you going to go back to being your human doing? Are you going to step forth and trust that which has been revealed through you today and take action upon it? And you don't need to answer this now. But what I invite you to do is I invite you to go home and contemplate this week. Contemplate those things that you heard, that you expressed here this morning of who am I here to be at Riverside Community Center for Spiritual Living, and what is mine to do at Riverside Community Center for Spiritual Living. Really sit with that and really contemplate it. Really be present with it. Get real clear as to who you are and what you are here to do. Who you are here to be and what you are here to do. Get really clear with that. Because when the vision is clear, then the choices are easy. When the vision is clear, the choices are easy. And when the vision is clear and you choose to be in alignment with it, then we live a life of grace. Then we live a life of magnificence. And then we show up here as magnificent God beings that each one of us is. So be, then do. Abide in me and bear fruit richly. And so it is. Amen. All right, so let's come together in consciousness. I invite our practitioners and core council members to please surround the sanctuary if you would. These beloveds are in service to you on a daily basis in prayer, holding the high watch, holding the high consciousness of this community. So I invite them to surround you at this time as a demonstration of how this community is being held and supported in love, in consciousness, and in light. And so I invite us all to turn within and go within. And join me in consciousness. Right here, right now, I recognize that there is one power, one presence, one infinite, eternal beingness that is forever and ever expressing. And I simply abide in it. I live, move, breathe, and have my being in it, and it in, through, and as me. For truly we are one. There is only one. And as I recognize this truth for myself, I recognize this truth for everyone present in this congregation, everyone who has ever been part of Riverside Community Center for Spiritual Living, everyone who has ever walked through these doors, and everyone who ever will walk through these doors. For truly I know that we are all one. The truth spoken in one place is truth spoken everywhere. And so I speak my word here and now, accepting the call upon my life, accepting my power, my purpose, my mission, to be the divine light, to be the presence of God, to stand in my magnificence and allow my magnificence to shine through. I let fall away any mud or any clutter, any ideas of otherness or any ideas of separation, any ideas of mud. I simply let those things fall away. Recognizing my magnificence, recognizing the Christ consciousness within me that brings forth all of creation, that brings forth life, that brings forth my world, my reality. And I give thanks for it. I give thanks for each beloved here who has said yes to the divine call upon their life, who has said yes to being part of this community. I know that each one of us simply is because God is, and God is always ising. God is. And I surrender and I allow it to live me. I get my bloated nothingness out of the way and God simply moves forth as me. I align with the divine will and I live a life of grace. And I know this to be true of everyone present today. I know this to be true of our beloved Riverside Community Center for Spiritual Living because we are community. And love lives here. Love lives here. We are a touchstone. We are a beacon. We are a greater expansion of the divine mind, a greater expansion of love, a greater expansion of truth, of peace, of wholeness, of harmony, of joy. I give thanks for its unfoldment. I give thanks for the willingness of each one to simply be and then take action upon that which has been revealed. And I release this word into the law, knowing that it is already done, knowing that it is already complete, knowing that it is already made manifest. And simply let it be, knowing that I need do nothing. And so it is.